Welcome back to Economic Briefing. Have you ever wondered why big tech companies keep getting bigger and bigger? Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google combined have a market capitalization of more than 9 billion, which is more than twice of Japan's GDP. The short answer is network effects. The long answer is a little more nuanced. Today, we will look at network effects, how platforms grow, and why certain platforms are more successful than others. Technology drastically changed the way we can interact with each other. This allowed for the rise of online platforms connecting all sorts of different groups with each other. Content creators and viewers, drivers and passengers, software developers and consumers, and so on. Platform-based business models are everywhere these days. You can even find a platform business on top of a platform business. Think Uber on top of iOS and Android. Platform businesses follow a different set of rules compared to traditional manufacturing or service businesses. In a traditional business, growth beyond some point usually leads to diminishing returns. Acquiring new customers becomes harder as fewer people, not more, find the firm's value proposition appealing. Platforms, however, enjoy increasing returns to scale. The bigger the platform, the more valuable it is. Users will pay more for access to a bigger network, so margins improve as the user base grows. Platforms are in the business of recruiting participants and then selling each group of participants the access to the other group of participants. The participants are the inputs that the platform uses to produce the intermediation service. The key term here are network effects. Think for example about the Apple ecosystem. The more Apple users there are, the more interesting it is for software engineers to develop new apps. And the more apps there are in the App Store, the more interesting the Apple ecosystem is for its users. This is a reinforcing cycle and usually leads to winner-takes-all dynamics in a market where only one or very few dominant players emerge. Let's take a look at a simple example. In a network of two people, there is one possible connection. In a network of three people, there are three possible connections. In a network of four people, there are six possible connections. And in a network of five people, there are 10 possible connections. You get the idea. The bigger the network, the more connections are possible. And this growth is not linear, but exponential. Let's take a look at how platforms usually grow. Platforms face a chicken-egg problem in the beginning, where one side of the platform is only interested to join if the other side of the platform is already there. This also explains why platforms usually try to grow at all costs and often remain unprofitable for many, many years. Competition is fierce among rivaling platforms. Many successful matchmakers violate the rules of pricing that every beginning econ student learns. They sell their service to one group for less than cost, maybe even giving it away for free, or perhaps even offer sign-on bonuses. The fierce competition and aggressive pricing politics explain why most platforms take years to reach profitability. For example, Amazon had its first profitable year only 9 years after it was founded. Additionally, platforms grow their user base by securing exclusive access to in-demand resources. You can observe this business strategy in many places. For example, the popular video game consoles Xbox and PlayStation often secure exclusive video games for their platforms to convince gamers to join their console. Last but not least, it's not uncommon for platforms to acquire their competition before it gets too big. In 2012, Facebook bought Instagram for 1 billion as it was the new hot thing back then. So, why are certain platforms more successful than others? Different platforms have different network structures. Most of the platforms we tend to think of operate global networks. Think for example Airbnb. Users have the possibility to book an accommodation basically in every city of the world, and any platform competing with Airbnb would need a similar extensive network. There are, however, also networks that are focused on a much more regional level. Think for example Uber. For Uber customers, it's important to have an extensive network within their own city. However, for users in New York, it is relatively immaterial how many Uber drivers there are in San Francisco or Miami. This also explains why regional competition keeps emerging and Uber struggles with profitability to this day. The power of network effects also explains why dominant platforms are almost never replaced by a similar competing platform. It usually takes technological disruptions to stand a chance against the network effects of existing platforms. If you like this deep dive, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more from Economic Briefing. Thanks for watching.